Welcome. We are a mother-daughter podcast about all things surrogacy. Together, we have brought 8 beautiful babies into this world, and we would like to share through education and knowledge about surrogacy with those who want to educate themselves on the topic. This is Stop, Sit, Surrogate. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Stop, Sit, Surrogate with Kennedy and Ellen.
Hello.
Oh my
Hi.
gosh, we have like Friday Facts. It hasn't been a Friday Facts in, I don't know, like a
been
year or
months.
something. It's been crazy. So, today we're going to talk about milk supply and pumping, which we know nothing about, but these 3 beautiful ladies do. So, we'll start with Grace. You want to introduce yourself?
I am Grace, in case you haven't heard me before. And I am a retired two-time surrogate, but I just delivered my last surrogate baby in October. So it's only been 5 months, and I'm in California.
Okay.
Yay. And
Fabulous.
then Leslie.
I am a two-time surrogate. I delivered my last surrogate baby in September, so I'm about 6 months postpartum, and I'm possibly retired. I might be able to do one more journey, so we'll see.
Okay.
Okay. And then Carrie.
All right.
Hello, I am a 3-time surrogate in Texas, and I just delivered twins 10 months ago today.
Oh my gosh, today?
It's 10 months
Yes,
already?
today.
Oh my
10
gosh.
months,
We
yep.
just
Wow.
I feel like we just talked with you in your
Yeah.
IM.
I
That's
know.
amazing. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so first off, who is anybody still pumping?
Yes, I am.
Of you.
Carrie.
Okay, so Leslie and Carrie said yes. So,
What?
okay,
I
well,
am
first,
not.
I mean, just like to start it off, right? So, did all of you like pump or breastfeed your own children?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, so then you already knew what you were getting into.
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you recommend that before we dive into all this?
Do we recommend
Do
like
you recommend
breastfeeding in general for our
like
own
if
children?
you like me, like I've never like breastfed or like pumped at all. So like as a person like being a surrogate, I hear all the time like the overwhelming stories and I'm like, would that be something am I out of my league to think that if I didn't do it with my own child, I could do it for somebody else?
There you go.
I would
It,
say no, it's not out of your league.
Okay. Okay. You ladies agree or no?
I
for
What?
sure.
Say it one more time.
It's very different. I mean, going from pumping or breastfeeding your child to just exclusively pumping for surrogate
Yeah,
baby.
it is very different.
Yeah.
Okay.
well, I exclusively pumped with all of my kids. None of them wanted to actually breastfeed on the breast. So
Okay.
I just did, it's no different to me because that's what I did for all 3 of mine.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, this is going to be so fun. Okay. Okay,
Can I ask a
so
question?
yeah.
Do you find it more difficult to pump than to just breastfeed?
I think so. I mean, because
Yeah,
when it
babies
was
can
with
make-
my kids,
Yeah.
I was pumping and then I would have to feed them as well.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
Okay.
it's just a lot more work.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of moms that they'll baby will be right next to them in the bassinet or right there, and they just kind of roll over and here's the breast, and you're eating, and then they fall
Yeah.
asleep, and you fall asleep, and you're done. But
Yeah.
it's the washing the parts and the pumping and the up every 3 or 4 hours, and you don't really have a baby in the house if you're pumping for a surrogate baby, yeah? Right?
Right.
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 It just seems like a lot of work, but you're compensated for that, yes?
Great. I was going to lean into that, Mom.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
Yes?
wait. Grace
Wait.
just shook her head no.
What?
Yeah, yes
no.
and no.
I was not compensated for breast milk or pumping. The first time my intended parents did they wanted to try breast milk. We tried it for a few days. They felt like it didn't agree with the baby, but I was like, well, I can't just turn the factory off.
Right,
So
right, right.
I kept going for about 6 weeks and found someone to donate to, but I never, it just, to me, it feels kind of icky if I
Mhm.
don't know. Like, if my intended parents had wanted to compensate for it, I would have accepted compensation,
Okay.
but
Okay.
to like sell to somebody felt icky, so I did not do that either time. And then the second time, the intended parents did really try breast milk. They were doing half and half with formula for the month that they were here. And then I kept going for another 4 weeks and I ended up donating to a milk bank. So
Okay.
still did not accept compensation.
Okay. And the
Okay.
month you were doing it for the intended parents, no compensation as well?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Are you,
Because I feel
Carrie?
like
Well,
if,
hold on.
okay.
There's three people here,
Yeah,
Ellen.
I know, but
Okay.
there was a lead in there. Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so Carrie and Leslie, were you guys compensated? Carrie, you said no as well, right?
Well, and mine's a combination of the two.
Okay.
So, when I was pumping for my first surrogate baby, I got compensated for 6 weeks.
Okay.
Um, and then I moved on to pump for a preemie milk bank,
Okay.
Okay.
which I got compensated for that as well.
Okay.
And then anything that I made extra, I donated for free. So,
Okay.
Okay.
yeah. So it was a combination of the two, right? Or the three and that journey. And now um I'm pumping for the preemie milk bank again.
Okay.
And when I'm at home, but there's a lot of times when I'm not at home. So when I'm not at home, there's a lot to go into,
Mhm.
like what you have to do for the preemie milk bank to qualify for that milk to qualify. So anytime I'm not at home, I'm pumping for free to give to moms in need,
Okay.
which is pretty much more than half of what I'm pumping goes to for free.
Okay.
Okay.
And
And
that's
Les
these are banks by you by your in your proximity of where you live. Yes, you're not
No,
shipping. No.
no, I'm shipping. Yeah, I'm shipping to California.
so you're paying for all of this.
No, I am
No.
not.
With
Oh,
the
you're
No,
premium
not.
milk bank, you're not. You're
not with the premium milk bank.
okay.
No,
Okay.
they send me the box.
Mhm.
I package it. I send it back. I don't do any. I
Oh,
don't have to pay for any of that.
that's
Okay. That's
nice.
And
good.
then
Yeah.
they pay me per
Okay.
Okay.
ounce.
It's per ounce.
Per
Okay. We just
ounce.
Yeah,
talked to somebody about per ounce or like a
Hmm.
yeah,
yeah.
a fee. Okay.
Okay.
Huh.
And then Leslie, were
Yeah.
you compensated or are you compensated?
Yeah.
Yes. First journey, I didn't pump for my IPs, but my agency matched me with another set of IPs. They were a state away, so I shipped milk to them.
Okay.
And then this journey, I didn't get compensated the first little bit because I was pumping for the NICU. The baby was in the NICU.
Okay.
Um, and then the NICU told them just to stay on breast milk. So then they started compensating me. And
Ah.
then I do sell some because I make more than what she.
More than what she needs. Okay.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. So do
Wow.
all of you, did you all of you purchase your own equipment?
Yes.
Yeah.
I got my like main plug in the wall pump through my insurance with my previous surrogate journey.
Okay.
And then Carrie graciously gave me a hands-free, like the kind that goes in your bra portable pump, which
Nice.
was life-changing. So thank you, Carrie.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow.
and so yeah, I didn't purchase my own equipment, but I
Okay.
did pay for all of the bags, which does add up.
Oh yeah.
Right, because you have to. So once
Crazy.
you pump, I worked at a daycare. So all I know is like it comes to us in like a bag and then you
Mhm.
pour it in the bottle. Right?
Has to be
Like,
defrosted, right? Like if it's in
yeah.
the freezer.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
you can't heat it up in a microwave. It's
Mm.
very different than formula because then you lose all the nutrients.
Hmm.
As a newbie, I got yelled at the daycare. It's fine.
Mm.
So it's very different. Okay, very okay. How do
So
you
how
guys?
many kids have?
How many
Um,
pounds? What'd you say?
So how many Grayson carry? How many pumps do y'all have then?
How
I
many
had just
pumps?
the two,
Okay.
the one for the wall and the battery powered one.
So I have one that I like. That's my absolute favorite.
Well,
And then I have two others that I
okay.
just, for just in case.
Okay. Are they all plug-ins? Or are they some of them battery operated?
They're all battery operated.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, so I have like a virgin question. When you pump, what is it that you have to clean?
Everything.
But
There's
so there's a device, right? So this battery powered thing, and then there's the thing that like goes on. Guys, I know nothing. And then there's like the thing that
so
goes on
there's
your
Google.
there's the
boob.
flange that goes on the breast that you
Okay.
have to clean. There's the duckbill valves that attach to the bottom of the flange piece that you have to clean. And
Okay.
then there's the membranes, and then like the container that has the membrane in it, which for my plug in the wall one is 3 pieces in itself. So it's like 5 or 6 pieces.
Okay.
Most of the time I only did, I know this is such a time suck, but I did one time at a side, one side at a time,
Mm.
with the plug in the wall one. And then with the one that goes in your bra, I did them both at the same time. And that has like 5 pieces as well.
Oh,
And
that you have to clean every time.
are you sterilizing? Are you dishwashering? What are you doing to
Yeah.
them to get them ready for next use?
I hand washed with hot water and then would sanitize them once a day. And then if I was super tired in the middle of the night or traveling, I would use wipes. They do make sanitizing
Mm.
breast pump wipes that are also game changers.
Okay.
So I use that.
How about you, other ladies?
So I have to wash mine with soap and hot water and soap.
Okay.
And then I have to sterilize it every single time because I am pumping for the milk bank.
Right. And you have certain criteria you have to meet. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, got it.
And if I take it out of the sterilizer, it has to go in a plastic bag
Okay. Yeah,
so
because
that
there's
it doesn't get contaminated.
yeah, particles in the air for sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. And Leslie, how about you?
At the very first, I had to wash and sterilize often because she was in the NICU, and
Yeah.
now I just sterilize weekly, hot soapy water after every session.
Okay.
Okay. Do they make dishwasher things?
Wipes, but
Oh, I'm sorry, say that again, Leslie.
Cut out.
Oh,
I do use the wipes, but I donate. Look, I don't send that to Suro Baby since she was a preemie.
Okay.
oh, got it.
Okay.
Do they make like dishwasher safe things for no, they don't. They haven't
I
thought that.
don't think so. Like, I don't think you could really get all the way in there the way that you
Yeah.
need to. And then
Mhm.
also just the type of soap and stuff, not like you don't know if you're getting it all off. So
Right. Right.
only hand washed. Plus it
And
degrades the silicone and it already degrades so quickly because of how often you're using it.
there you go.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you'd have to have multiple parts to keep replacing because if you're using it 5 and 6 times a day, how are you going to run the dishwasher five? I mean, you would run it, but it just seems
Yeah.
the way you're all doing it's better. Wow.
I have
Nice.
3 different sets.
Okay.
So I have 3 sets that I use at home, and then I have 3 different sets for at work.
Gosh. Nice. Okay.
Because of the preemie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Wow, that
And when you're doing it at work or traveling or wherever you are, where are you storing the breast milk? It has to be frozen, right?
Well, it can be in the refrigerator for 3 days before it has to go be frozen.
Okay.
If you're not pumping for the milk bank.
If you're not pumping for the milk bank. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're pumping for the milk bank,
It
immediate
has
freezing?
it I have 12 hours to get it into the freezer.
Okay.
But it has to be refrigerated immediately.
Got it. Okay. So do you bring coolers with you or do you guys have like little fridges that are yours at your work?
I have a
just
fridge at work.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't
I
working
have
while I
a
was pumping, but I brought a lunch bag with ice packs in it if I was going to be out and about for the
Okay.
day and needing a pump.
Okay.
That's smart. What about you, Leslie?
Leslie. Yeah.
uh, I'm a nanny, so I have a fridge at work, and then I have a my bag has cooler ice packs in it, so I can bring the milk home.
Oh,
Um,
Okay.
Freeze nightly just because she was preemie, so I would just freeze everything every night.
Okay.
got it. Okay.
Jeez.
Okay, so a lot of people, a lot of surrogates are always concerned, like, what if I change my mind? Like, I signed and I said, okay, yes, I'll pump, for this journey. But then maybe their milk doesn't come in, or they choose not to, or something like that. Are you guys set in stone? I know how my contracts have worked, but I'm
Is
just
that a breach?
curious.
Yeah. Is it
Yeah.
a, yeah.
Is there like a breach if you don't pump?
I don't think so. At least with my contracts, it always said if both parties are willing.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I think they leave a lot of room in things that are situational like that. Like, we didn't even put it in my contracts because we didn't know, like, am I 100% sure that I'm going to want to pump? Am I 100% sure for how long I might want to pump?
Right.
Right.
As are they 100% sure that they want to give breast milks or to use breast milk? So
Mhm.
I think with all those what ifs, it's hard to set that in stone.
So if there's those what ifs in the contract regarding doing breast or pumping and breastfeeding, or milk, excuse me, where's the compensation come in if there is? Is that already in the contract, or is that to be determined at a later date? That might get a little sticky if you, right? Or is it not?
In
My
my case, we did talk about compensation in the event that we all agreed that
Okay.
I would provide breast milk,
Okay.
and we all agreed ahead of time that there
Okay.
would not be compensation.
Okay. Fair. Fair. Okay. How about
my
you, Lynn?
agent has a set fee for every for the contract for pumping. So that was already set in
That makes sense.
stone. But my second family did, so it wasn't in the contract. So we just agreed after she
Oh,
was born in the NICU
okay.
that they wanted milk. So
Okay.
Got it.
And then the agency fees kind of kicked in, or while she was in the NICU, there was no compensation. I think I remember you saying something like that.
yeah, they didn't compensate me. We didn't know what we were doing for a while, and then after
Mhm.
that, I started getting paid out of escrow.
Okay, got it.
Got it. Okay.
Hmm.
This is very interesting.
Oops.
Okay,
There
so
you go.
have you ladies ever needed like help bringing your milk supply in, or do you have advice?
I don't think I
Schedule
can answer that. I have zero problems. It just shows up and it shows up aplenty.
It's great.
I don't pump a lot. I pump maybe 30, 40 ounces a day, but um, I had to stay on a strict routine because I had the C-section at 30 weeks. So, um, strict routine, drinking water, eating high protein, um, making sure I was getting enough sleep, not stressing about it.
Yeah.
Um, and it slowly came in. So,
Hey.
Wow.
For me, this journey, I had a C-section. So it didn't come in as easily as it has before. Um, I think I remember being really upset at like day 3 when I was pumping every 3 hours around the clock and I still wasn't getting a single drop.
Oh, wow.
Um, and then finally by day 5, it finally came in and I'm up to like 60 ounces a day. So it
Okay.
came quick, but it
Amazing.
took a while.
Yeah.
What is like, what's considered a low ounce that comes in a day for people and a high, like people, I have no idea.
Yeah.
So, I believe that like around 24-ish ounces a day is normal.
Okay.
Anything lower than that is low supply.
Hmm.
Anything higher than that is high. But I have friends, surrogate friends, that have produced 120 ounces a day.
Yeah,
Oh
we
my gosh.
talked to somebody last week. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
Oh,
lot.
it's a
That,
it
lot.
is. Yeah.
and that you are donating, I would think, unless you're feeding your whole neighborhood if they all have newborns. Like,
Right.
yeah. Whew. More power to y'all. I can't even imagine.
Is there sensitivity that comes with your milk
Hmm.
supply?
Like with
Like
your breasts, you mean?
as as in like
Like
what do you mean by
in
sen
your breast, like in your
Your
breast, like
pig,
do they
yeah.
feel heavier? Like I just imagine like oh boom, like all of a sudden you have a baby and now it's like just like you have like just like liquid in your tatas. Like I don't I don't know.
Oh, Kennedy.
It's ever changing. Like it, you could, I always was, well, I had a conversation with my husband this last time. I was like, my weight fluctuates by probably a pound and a half multiple times a day
Oh, wow.
because you're producing milk and then it goes away, and then you're producing milk and then it goes away. And then every time you fill up, yeah, you can start to feel that it's heavy, and not just like with your hand from the outside, but you can feel like it becomes painful.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Um,
I've heard
in
that.
the beginning, when everything is just starting to come in, they get really engorged, which is super uncomfortable. And then the letdown sensation, like because you can stimulate it to come out when you're pumping, but also different things will make your letdown reflex just kind of go into action throughout the day. And so for me, letdown is really uncomfortable sometimes. It's like when you rip your nail bed and it's like that for me, it's like that singeing, like heat down your back kind of pain. Like sometimes that would happen for me with letdown.
It feels great to me because it's a release for me.
There you
It's
go.
just like whoosh, milk's coming out. I'm emptying. We're good.
Okay.
If I have a baby crying in public for a long period of time, I could
Right.
feel the lit down coming on.
Interesting.
But this journey I pumped for longer than last, so I don't know if that changes it pumping longer.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, so when I get a letdown, mine's like a tingling sensation.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Similar to Grace, similar-ish.
yeah. And but it doesn't hurt. It's
Okay.
just really tingling.
Okay.
Um, and then so when I was first postpartum, like just getting back to work, I would be walking around the hospital and I would just immediately, at some points, I would just start leaking.
Oh.
And I could feel it. And I would have to cross my arms and pretend that I'm just
Oh.
holding, like crossing my arms, but really I
Oh.
was holding my boobs.
Oh my gosh.
But now that I'm 10 months postpartum and that doesn't happen anymore.
Okay. Wow.
When does, because I'll see like people online being like, oh, like they're pregnant still, but they're collecting, one of you say the word, I'm gonna say it
With
wrong.
colostrum?
There
What?
you go. Yeah, they're
Colostrum.
collecting that while they're still pregnant. But don't you have to pump to still get that? No.
You can hand press it out
Okay.
after 6 weeks, I believe. I did it first journey. And this one, of course, I couldn't because I had her at 30 weeks. But yeah, you can hand express it. You can pump it. You can get in a shot glass and then pull it in a syringe and freeze the syringes. There's many ways of doing it.
Okay.
Very
And
interesting.
when can you start? I thought colostrum was only after you had the baby. When can you start getting it?
My doctor approved it at 36 weeks, the first journey.
Okay.
Wow. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I never knew that. That is kind of cool. Because that's all the rich nutrient stuff, right? Like before the.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
was so afraid
Oh.
to try to express that prior to delivery both times because I was having planned C-sections. And
Mm.
if you've heard my journeys, I love to stick to a plan.
Yeah.
So I just didn't want to cause anything that could impact my plan. Like if I went into labor early and then had to have a
Right.
C-section early. So
Right.
because the pumping can potentially trigger contractions that could lead to
Right.
labor. So I chose not to do that. I knew that there would be plenty to provide
Yeah.
once I delivered.
Yeah.
And both times I was able to get like 2 ounces of colostrum immediately after delivery. So it was just fine.
Okay. Well, this is
That's
enlightening.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good amount. Again, these ounces, I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
Yeah, think
yeah,
about 2 ounces of a liquid in a cup. Like
yeah,
for colostrum, yeah, it's a
yeah.
lot.
That's a lot.
It's a
Yeah.
Okay.
lot.
And right after birth. At the hospital, I was getting drips after the C-section, just
Oh,
like little drops in the cup. That was it. So
Oh.
okay.
Grace.
So,
I had a question.
all right, I have one.
Okay.
So, we know what breastfeeding can deflate your breasts, right? And they become not as perky as they were possibly before you were pregnant, right? Okay, so when you're pumping all this time for surrogate babies or preemie banks or milk banks, same thing, right? Because you're still, I guess the bottom question is they become a little less perky. They're saggier, right? I don't know. I don't even know how to phrase that. Like, yes,
When
no,
they're full,
yes.
you look like 20 years old. They're amazing. And then
Yeah.
after you pump, sometimes you just hang low. Like, do your ears hang low? Do they wobble to and
Right.
fro?
Oh,
Does it require different bras, like to handle that? I mean, I think that's a valid question. When they're, you know what I'm saying?
I just tighten the straps and loosen
Okay.
them when I get full in. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
That's fair.
No, I need completely different bras. My favorite boobs are pregnancy boobs. My least favorite are breastfeeding, pumping boobs. They're just, for me, they're ridiculously huge. They're heavy. They don't fit in hardly any bra. All the bras that I found, and I will say, like for me, because I knew I was going to be short term, relatively short term pumping, I
Yeah.
just didn't bother to purchase really expensive bras.
Yeah.
And I think they're ugly. I'm just looking for the support.
Yeah.
And then maybe they're tied for least favorite boobs, the ones that I have right now that are so sad and deflated after this last time. I already had a plastic surgery consultation. I am ready to get them picked back up. Like the headlights have fallen below the bumper at this point in time, and we need to pick them back up.
oh my God, I love you.
Okay, that brings me to another one because way back when we did it, the girls would some of the girls were writing in their contracts tummy tucks.
I would
And
love to write that in
they
my
were
contract.
getting
What?
because I had one, she was this was when you could do whatever you wanted as many times as you wanted as long as somebody was gonna,
Sure.
yeah. She was on her fourth C-section for surrogacy and she had another one waiting in the wings. And that fifth one, they wrote in the contract that they were going to pay for for the tummy tuck. So that was, come on guys, 2 decades ago. So I haven't, I mean, I'm not that privy to contracts, but is any of that kind of stuff written in?
Not
Like,
ever in mine.
okay,
I've never had it written in.
okay, okay,
I would never ask for that. That is on me. I
Yeah.
understand the risk going
okay,
into the process. I
yeah,
understand if I want that, that is going to be my responsibility. I would never
okay,
ask
For
yeah,
parents
the
to pay for that.
addition. Yeah,
yeah,
because like a tummy
yeah,
tuck is like 10
yeah,
to like 15 grand depending on what kind. So
yeah,
like if I really
yeah,
wanted it, then the compensation I
right?
would be making, I
Would
would
go
put
towards
some of
it.
that aside for that.
Correct, correct, yeah. Yeah, I was pretty shocked when I was like, whoa, yeah. Uh-huh.
That's
Super. And that was
interesting.
a long time ago, guys, long time
Yeah,
ago.
it
Yeah.
was. Huh.
But I would like to call her a what do you call a career surrogate? Yeah. It's basic, yes. And it was weird.
I don't know if I like that term.
Well, that's what I was called because they didn't put any limits on you.
Well, they do
But
now.
yes, they do. Yes, they do. But for it to seem shocking that possibly that would have gone into a contract or somebody would have asked and somebody would have agreed to that, not in that
We could
particular
also
situation.
say it was shocking that they allowed somebody who died twice on a table to be a surrogate a third time. We
Wow.
could also say that.
Wow.
I just saying.
Again, the rules and
No,
regulations were
I
so just
know.
wonky wonky back then, man. If you could get pregnant, come on in. That was kind of the thing. Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah, terrifying.
Um, do you ladies have questions for each other? Are we not asking something? Again, we have no
No,
idea
we don't.
about milk supply and things.
I know more now, which has
Oh,
been
yeah.
very enlightening.
We
Yeah.
didn't talk about drying up.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's the only
that's the
part I
only thing
do
we know
know. So
about.
yeah.
Right.
So how, well, okay, I
I
guess
know.
that's okay. So for me, right, because I've just never produced enough to be like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna keep going. Like I put cabbage in my bra at the hospital. Like I have like my parents bring it and I'm like, okay, we're starting now. Like it's and I dry up within 2 days. So to me, I'm like, I just don't think I produce anything. But if you're gonna go for weeks or months, what's the process like? Because you said it in the beginning, Grace, you can't just turn off the factory. Like it's not a switch. So how do you stop?
This the first time, like my first surrogate baby, it was so much easier with my kids because they just kind of naturally weaned off. Like they just weren't interested anymore. So my supply went down and then it just kind of was gone and not a big deal. But it was like a hard stop both times this last time. So with my first surrogate baby, I gave it about a week's time. I just tried to pump less. I tried cabbage, but the only cabbage I could find was purple. And it just, I don't know if it was because of the variety, it didn't seem to be doing anything. And all I got was, I called them purple soupy boobs because they would leak and then the cabbage would be like
Color.
moist and
Oh,
soupy and warm and gross. And so I gave that up after a day and a half. And then it
smells
just
bad too.
it was painful. It was very leaky. It was excruciating for about 5 days before things really started to dry up. So this time I had the foresight with my doctor to let him know, like, hey, I'm going to pump, but I want to stop and stop quickly. I told him at my first postpartum appointment, and then I went a few weeks later because I asked him for some kind of medication, like, hey, if there's a medication out there that can help me dry up. I had tried Sudafed with the first surrogate baby, and that just did nothing for me. So this time I asked if there was anything else he could prescribe, and he did at my second postpartum appointment give me cabergoline. I might be saying that wrong, but that's the spelling sounds like that. And it's a medication that tells the hormone with the pituitary gland to stop producing oh my gosh, it's prolactin,
Okay.
which is what tells your body to produce breast milk. So it stops the production of that. So your body just said, like you're telling yourself, don't do that anymore. Plus, I cut down significantly on pumping, and it took about 3 days and was only painful for about 18 hours versus 5 days of pain that I had the previous time, and it dried up very quickly. Last time, or with my first surrogate baby, it took several days after the engorgement basically stopped for everything to kind of like fully dry up and go away. I'd say about 2 weeks. And then this time it took less than a week for all of that to just be gone. So it's pretty amazing.
Oh,
Okay,
good
I
to
have
hear that.
one question for you real quick. You said you cut down significantly on pumping. So, because like again, I have no idea, but I thought you like had to continue to pump or like it was just like you were just like gonna like leak kind of situation. No?
I didn't really have the leaking this last time. I would attribute it to the medication, but not like I did the first time. I went from about 3 or 4 hours in between pumping to I think the first time I did 10 hours in between pumps, and then I did 12, and then 18, and then just was pretty much done. It
Wow.
Wow,
went
that's
really
quick.
fast.
Okay.
So it takes me a very long time to wean from pumping.
Okay.
Um, I'm gonna say I'm 10 months postpartum now. So if I want to be done by a year, I need to start now.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, so I pump 6 to 7 times a day right now for 30 minutes a
Oh,
piece.
geez.
Wow.
So eventually I will, cut down, decide which pump I want to cut out first.
Okay.
And then I'll cut down on the time because when I get engorged, it's really uncomfortable and I just don't like it.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I will cut down on my time. Say I'll go from pumping 30 minutes at a time to pumping 20 minutes. And then eventually I'll cut down to 10 minutes or I'll like try to move it from, say every 3 hours to every 4 hours.
Okay.
And then after that, I'll move it to 5 hours. But yeah,
Is that all you do to wean off? You don't do cabbage or any type of medication or anything like that?
I tried Sudafed. I've tried everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
it just
tried
doesn't
cabbage
work.
in the brawl. I've
Ugh.
tried, there's a cream called Cabo cream. There's tea that you can drink that's called
Hmm.
no more milk tea.
Okay.
I've tried it all and nothing helps except just
The
pretty
way
much
you're doing it.
stopping.
Yeah.
Don't remove all the milk from your breast, and you're going to be uncomfortable for a while. Um,
Like
but
in
then
pain or like uncomfortable?
it's uncomfortable most
Okay.
of the time, unless like it's been like you're really, really full. Then I feel like it's painful. It can be very
Okay.
painful. Yeah.
Mhm. Oof.
And then I think what finally took it all away last time was I got on birth control.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
that's
So
interesting.
Adding extra hormones in. Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
That's a neat trick. That's an easy trick to try, anyways.
Hmm.
What about you, Leslie?
I don't remember with my daughters because if you follow me, my daughters are all 16, 18, and 20. So I don't
Wow.
remember honestly.
Wow.
Um, First journey, I just, because I don't produce as much as they do, it took me about 10 or 12 days and I just started spreading out the time and then also reducing the time that I pump. So instead of 30 minutes, 25 minutes and just spreading it out. Took me, a little less than 2 weeks. So it wasn't too bad.
Okay.
But right now I only pump 5 times a day. I still pump in the middle of the night. So I don't know how long it'll take me because I'm planning on going for 12 months at least. So, but
Okay.
So common denominator there is that you all kind of cut back on your pumping.
The time.
That seems to be the number one thing. Because I'm gonna forget this question. There's this, I'm gonna call it a myth because I have no idea, that if you breastfeed or pump, that it helps with postpartum. Like it helps you lose the weight and it helps, the healing go quicker. Do any of you see those benefits, I guess is what you would call them?
I would say
I would,
100%.
yeah,
Hmm.
I
Okay, so it's
agree.
not a myth.
Yeah, no. Because it
Okay,
makes your
myth
uterus
debunked.
contract. Yeah.
it tracks the uterus, so it helps put everything back where it should
Mhm.
be, technically, I guess.
Right.
I don't lose the weight drastically until after I finish pumping.
Okay.
That's just me. I don't know if I'm insulin resistant or if there's something else going on, but I don't lose it until after. But it does help heal.
Okay.
So I have lost all of my pregnancy weight plus more.
Girl.
Well, you are also a trainer. Wait, let's put something straight, Carrie. You work out and I
I
envy
do.
you
I
because
do.
you have the discipline to work out even when you were crazy pregnant. So,
Yeah, but that's a mild. Good for you. That's
yeah.
impressive.
No,
Very
that's
impressive.
amazing. That's truly amazing.
Yeah.
I saw a calculation for how many calories per day it burns just
To pump.
for breastfeeding or pumping
Yeah.
based on how many ounces per day you're pumping. So I don't remember the math, but when I did it, I was burning about 2,200 calories a day just from pumping.
Wow.
So while I was doing it, I was losing weight very quickly,
Yeah.
but then I stopped very quickly. So then I had to find another activity to keep the weight loss going because otherwise, and this rang true with my previous surrogate baby and when I quit nursing my and pumping for my own kids. As soon as I stopped, that's really when the weight started to come on versus go the other way. This time I've been pretty diligent about working out because I want to get that surgery. So I'm trying to get that weight down as quickly as possible. Um, I've been able to keep it going, but while I was pumping, it 100% was burning a ton of calories.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I mean, so that's amazing.
But and you also, when you are pumping or when you're breastfeeding, you feel the uterus contract, right? You can feel that. Yes?
At
Like it's
first, yeah.
okay.
Yes, yeah, yes. But
Yeah.
you do have more while you're pumping. You just have to eat the correct foods, not just junk foods. So, my thing is protein, everything protein all day long, it seems like. So,
Okay.
So you still feel your uterus contract even after the the first 2 weeks of postpartum.
If you're breastfeeding, is that
If
the
you're
Mm,
question?
if you're pumping or breastfeeding, or no, you don't, right?
I didn't. I
Okay.
don't. Yeah. Not anymore, at least.
Okay.
Because your uterus is back to normal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't feel it
Yeah.
anymore after the first couple of weeks.
Couple weeks. Okay.
Okay. Do you, well, you guys have all done it, so I can't even ask it. I guess I'll just have to do it if I ever have a child of my own and just see if the difference, because after each, well, you guys have all had multiple children, so I'll ask this. So after each pregnancy, they always say the recovery is gonna be twice as hard as the one before. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Do you see the difference in doing what you're doing that like helps?
I think that's more dependent on like maybe some of your fitness and health levels during pregnancy and then your delivery,
Mhm.
I think is really dependent on what recovery is like. I would say the most difficult recovery I had was my third one, so my first surrogate baby, and this last one was easier than that.
Okay,
Okay.
that gives me hope.
this one's the hardest on me, but I couldn't work out or do anything during the pregnancy because I had
Right.
the previa. So the recovery has been a lot harder, and it was my first C-section.
Mm,
So the rest of mine were about the same, I think.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say that this one was my hardest, but I mean, I had twins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a
And
And a
C-section.
C-section,
and
right?
it was my very first C-section. So,
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it's just hit or miss with some people,
mhm.
depending on the things. Okay.
Age could be a thing. I'm almost 40. So I had my girls when I was in my 20s, and then the two surrogate journeys was in between 30 and 40, or 35 and 40.
Oh, that's when I did mine, Leslie. Between 35 and 41. Yeah. It is harder doing it when you're older. Sorry, it is. Not that spring chicken that I was before, but whatever. It's okay.
Making me nervous. I just hit my
Oh,
30s.
for the love of
Oh
God.
my goodness.
You'll be
And let's
just
get the
fine.
violin. Dear
I
God.
had I was pregnant. I was pregnant almost all of my 20s. So, it was all
You're still
easy.
in your prime.
Yeah, you
Oh,
are.
I'm
that's nice.
I'm 41 and I just delivered delivered twins right before I turned 41.
I
So,
didn't know that,
Carrie.
Carrie.
I didn't know that
yeah.
either. Wow.
I turned 40 right after I had my last
Get
surrogate baby.
out.
Oh,
Girl,
don't
you need to
even
be
look
a
it. I
poster
don't
child.
understand.
You need to be like, look at this, this fabulous 40. My God. You go.
Seriously. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I would have
AMA
never guessed that. Say
Um,
that again.
AMA surrogates, advanced maternal age or geriatric. Or
Geriatric.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, we should do a Friday Facts on that because isn't that different? You guys have to take different testings, and we
Yeah.
won't hop into
Yes,
all
yeah.
that right now, but we
Yeah.
should do one on that.
That's interesting.
Huh, didn't even think of that.
Absolutely need to do one. Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys have different testings.
So,
Forgot about
Leslie, when you said You might be going to a third. Is that what you said? A third journey? Maybe?
I'm in the process of it right now. Yes.
So
Really?
you're not, there's no, the cutoff is like what, 42? Or age?
It just depends. I'm working with a clinic directly
Oh,
because
okay.
they will work with me,
Okay.
and it's a personal match. So
Fun. Okay.
on it, yeah,
For you.
Aw.
Okay,
they've already
so
Oh,
didn't affect
they
my
already
last
did.
delivery didn't affect it. So
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Cool.
um the ASRM guidelines have changed and
Okay.
now it's 45.
Are you
So
kidding?
I am actually thinking about doing another one.
Are you
Really?
I'm
wait,
thinking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's okay. You have time.
Yes.
The BMI changed too, right? Or am I crazy? Now it's like now you have to have like a lower BMI than what they had before.
it just depends on the clinic. I
Is that the
Yeah.
clinic-based ones? Okay.
I think for that one it's the clinic.
The clinics. Okay.
Yeah.
and the amount of pregnancies, including your own, is
That's the
there,
same.
that's a guide, is that a standard guideline? Or does it change?
I've
So
heard that it's
it's
think
yeah.
uh 5 pregnancies or 5 vaginal deliveries that you can
Okay.
have, no
Okay.
more than 5, or no more than 3 C-sections.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
know there's ASRM guidelines on those, but also some clinics are more strict than
Strict.
others.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Which is
It's
why I have to.
no more than 3 C-sections, so I'm
Right.
out.
But
Okay.
it is interesting because I've heard, I think we've even talked to some surrogates that have had more than three C-sections. Am I crazy?
I think
Either we've talked to someone like that or I've personally talked to someone
I
like
think you
that.
personally talked to someone like that.
I have two, and I did start looking into it because I was being recruited. I would never go to another agency personally,
Okay.
but other agencies were reaching out to me, or
Okay.
like recruiters from agencies and telling
Sure.
me that I should do it again.
Oh.
And the only agencies or clinics that I could really find that would be accepting another C-section for me are in Canada, so no
Oh.
American, hence the
Okay.
ASRM guidelines.
Okay.
Right.
And I don't think it's going to be worth all of that. And I've decided I had such a beautiful
You did.
set of journeys with the
Mhm.
intended parents that I have. I don't think that there's anything that's going to replace that. So
Yeah.
I've decided it's time to close that chapter, though that's something I am still working through and
It's a hard one. It's a
have
hard one.
tears over.
Yeah.
Mhm. Grace.
If the guidelines were 45 when I was doing it, I would have definitely done another one. Definitely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Is there anything that we missed? Tips, tricks that you guys, advice that you would give to women that are either going to try this for the first time or are going to
Because it's a
do this for a
commitment.
surrogate baby for the first
Yeah.
time?
It's a huge commitment.
So, what I would say is when you're in the hospital after you first have the baby, the very first pump, um, I got out a pretty decent amount. And then for um, after that, until like day 3 or this time day 5, I just kept pumping around the clock and I would get absolutely nothing out. And I hear that that's normal. So don't get discouraged when you are pumping and you're not getting anything out.
Okay.
And do you think that's more conducive with a C-section than with a vaginal birth? Or
Well, with the vaginal birth, it still took 3 days.
okay.
I think it's just
Your
the
body.
colostrum is really hard to get out.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Um, and then once your milk starts coming in, then it's easier.
Yeah. So just don't give up.
Yeah,
If you're
don't give
committed
up.
to it, keep up, keep going. Can't,
Yeah.
it's not all going to happen in one day. Okay.
I would say, especially since it's not your baby,
No.
make sure you're on the same page with the parents on this. But I just would not beat myself up over like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to keep this going as long as I had intended, or I feel like I'm not taking care of myself the way that I need to right now because I'm pumping. I wouldn't allow myself to get to that place because it's I don't want to say it's not worth it. It is worth it, but I did the deed. I delivered a healthy baby. I made a family, and I this is just a bonus extra on top. So I think that especially after we've just gotten done doing this amazing thing, we're in this because we love to help people. So we just want to like, oh, this is the thing we're doing now that we want to be really good at and help somebody and make someone happy. But I don't think that we should do that at the detriment of ourselves and our mental health for sure and our physical health.
Well said. Yes.
I always tell people to don't make pumping your life, make it fit into your life.
Okay.
So when I went back to work, I had to drop a pump session. I had to change the times that I pumped. I made sure that I'm not stressing about it at work, like Grace is talking about. I mean, you need to take care of yourself. So, and I told my IPs, if I'm done, I will let y'all know. Of course, I have a freezer full of milk. She has a freezer full of milk, so we're good if that happens.
Yeah.
Also, people always ask me about tips for shipping. So you're planning on shipping, making sure you're joining. There's an exclusively pumping surrogate Facebook group. And that's a whole new ball game in itself is shipping milk, of course. But,
Do they put dry ice in it? How do they keep it cold?
Yeah.
I don't use dry ice. I use ice packs.
Ice packs,
They're
okay.
like ice sheets. I get them wet and put them in the freezer the night before, and then they freeze solid. Some people don't put ice packs at all, but I'm very cautious just in case I want to add any extra to it. So,
Yeah.
The
Interesting.
place I was shipping to, I'm in California. They're in California. We were usually able to get it there overnight.
Mhm.
So we just packed it super duper tight. And they would ship me an actual cooler, and
Okay.
then I would fill it up and tape it shut and ship it back. So it was able to keep itself frozen because of the
Okay.
way it was packed and that it wasn't going that far.
Yeah. It's amazing. It really is. It's amazing how you can even ship it across the country and
Mhm.
babies can thrive, and especially the little preemie ones. Yeah. I love that, Carrie, that you're donating to a preemie bank. Love it.
I know how hard and strict that is.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't
Mhm.
qualify, is my understanding, to do that.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah, you have to there's a lot of they ask you a lot of questions. Um and there's a lot of things that, go into it, and um yeah, it's difficult to get one approved and then to keep going.
Yeah.
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 Are you locked in for a time frame on that with them?
So every 6 months you can so they ask you to donate for at least 6 months, and then after 6 months you have to requalify. So you have to answer all the questions all over again. You
Okay.
have to do the blood draw test all over again
Oh,
every 6 months. So
Interesting. Just
very
listen.
interesting.
Wow. I commend you. Commend you all. I mean, it's
I know.
amazing that you are even,
The
yeah.
time and the
Uh-huh.
dedication
The
and the
time.
commitment
mhm.
and
And
everything.
this, yeah,
It's a lot because you don't have
to
to do
do it.
it.
Yeah.
You choose to
The
do
fact
it.
that you're those type of individuals who want to and are happy to most of
Hmm.
the time, right? That it's amazing. It really is.
Yeah.
People, I don't know. Surrogates need to be celebrated more. Seriously. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes people don't realize that y'all do.
Which is why we try to put it on the
We
scenes.
do. We do.
You're doing a great job.
As are you all.
I know.
Because, like,
God.
I honestly would
Feel a little
never have known all
inadequate
this
because I
if,
got these little A-sized boobs that aren't going to do a damn thing for anybody. But all right, whatever.
but Thank you, ladies, so
Yeah,
much. This was so informative. I
very
really
informative.
appreciate it. And I'm so happy that we're getting back to Friday facts. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
having
having me
us.
on.
My
Of
gosh,
Yeah.
thanks for joining.
course.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
It's
Information.
my first, so I'm happy to join.
I know. Leslie, we got to talk to you more.
Yeah. Fun.
Perfect. Well, thank you, ladies.
Thanks,
Have
ladies.
a wonderful night.
Yes. Thank you
Yes.
all so much for your
Thank
insight.
you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You did it.
Bye.
Bye.
Learned a lot I didn't know. A
I
lot.
didn't even know there were things called like a duck bill.
Right. That
Did I
goes.
say that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was
I
the
mean,
funniest name out of all the things.
right.
When she was like, when she said something with like I just kept thinking of phalange. I'm just watching too much Friends. It's fine.
You're so
But like the
funny.
phalange connects to
Yeah.
the duck
Right.
bill. I get it now. So it makes
Yeah. And
sense.
then Kennedy,
But
Kennedy's sucked in and goes, yes, I get it now. Okay.
yeah. Both of my sisters pumped, and I just didn't really care to be a part of that. But both of them pumped,
You have sisters?
don't I? Do you not consider one of my sister-in-law my sister?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
Okay.
was just
I
curious.
was like, wait, where did you get another sister?
Only known her since I was 8, Ellen. No worries.
Yes. So sorry. So sorry.
But
Yes.
thank you, ladies. That was really,
Yeah.
really
It,
informative.
very informative from people who just didn't know a whole lot about that.
Yeah, or are
It,
like worried about like the commitment, like because it
mm,
is in your
huge,
contracts, but
huge.
it's never been like a demanding thing in your contracts. Like there's no breach if you don't do it or if you don't follow
Right.
through. Like that's not a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And my respect for surrogates is through the roof, but for those that continue to pump and then donate to preemie banks or just milk banks or anyone who needs the extra milk, like that's an angel with like 5 sets of wings. Like yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't do it, and I'm saying that I could not do what they do, and they do it so effortlessly. It
Yeah.
appears like I could not. I couldn't even breastfeed my own children, let alone someone else's. So
Yeah. I
hats
was
off
too
to all of
afraid
them.
to try with my kid. So like,
Yeah,
I mean, maybe this next time around for my own child, if I'm lucky
maybe
to have another one, then maybe then. But like, it's the it's the con it's the not knowing and now understanding. Like, right, it's not a faucet. Like, you don't just get to turn it
right,
off. And it's
right.
like,
You're living
oh,
with it all
right.
the time.
Like it's
Yeah,
like if you choose that you don't want to do it, well, it's there now. You have to like get rid of it. It's a process. So like
right.
I think that was like the biggest thing for me to be like,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah.
But like, yeah, of course, that makes sense. You can't just turn it off. But yeah, so
Back when I didn't get to mention this, but when I was doing it, they gave us pills to dry ourselves up.
but they were talking about that
Yeah,
though.
but I think that's a
Oh, you're talking about a
much.
surrogate?
No, it's when I had my own and they just gave me pills, and but I think they're different pills. And they found out that they cause breast cancer, the pills that,
Oh,
yeah, so they stopped giving them.
okay.
Right. So I think the one that
The Sudafed and
but
the
she was
K
talking more
one.
about with a K.
Yeah.
I think that's probably way more advanced,
Oh
20
yeah,
years. Yeah.
gotta be
It just tells your body to stop the
the the
oh
P
gosh,
word,
now I forget. Yeah, I know. I forget the name of it
the
now. So sorry.
pituitary gland.
Right, it tells it to stop the yeah. Oh, I forget the name. Sorry, but it's in the podcast.
It's
Sorry.
yeah.
It's in there.
Rewind. Fine.
All right.
Fine. We've talked about it. That's what matters.
Nah.
Yeah, so if anybody has any questions or stories that they would like to share, please feel free to reach out to us. If anybody has any topics they would like for us to talk about on a Friday Facts, please let us know. You don't have to be a part of them. We will find people to be a part of them if that's something that you guys want to learn about. Please feel free to reach out to us on Instagram at Stop.Sit.Surrogate or at our email at Stop.Sit.Surrogate@gmail.com.
It's been another edition of Friday Facts with Ellen and Kennedy. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to give us a like and subscribe. Also, check out the link to our YouTube channel in the description. And be sure to also check out our children's book, My Mom Has Superpowers, sold on Amazon and Etsy.